what? It's like, it's been how many, 3 years? And so it's for them to come out and make that threatening statement. I mean, because we know people that
who were simply there,
who were simply
day.
In Washington, period, and who got a visit. And but we have somebody here, a Valley boy, that we known
endured far worse than what you're talking about.
Well, and so what we wanted to do is we wanted to give Eric the opportunity to come in and introduce himself and talk a little bit about who he is, what his life was like before he
became a J6er.
Before he exercised his constitutional rights of freedom of assembly and right to petition the government for redress of grievances. It's basically his First Amendment. So welcome, Eric.
Thank you, David.
And just to give our listeners a little background, this is Eric Christie, local boy from, he's a man, obviously, from Sherman Oaks, and who traveled to the Capitol on January 6th and has a very tragic and dramatic story of what became of that day and his imprisonment. So, Eric, thank you for coming and being here and sharing your story.
Yes, thank you. So I recently got out of the gulag, David, just this last December 1st. I spent a total of 11 months and 10 days incarcerated. About a month of that was in downtown Los Angeles, and then they took me to D.C., where I went straight to the gulag. And the gulag is a pod within the D.C. jail. It's dubbed the gulag, and it's just a group of J6ers there. Some of them have been there now 3 years. But as I was telling, your name again?
Jennifer.
A lot of people out there think that the J6ers are just sitting in the gulag in Washington, D.C., and that's not true. A lot of them have been convicted and sent to prisons all across America. There's 2 in downtown Los Angeles. There's 3 down there in San Pedro. There's a couple out in Lompoc and Santa Barbara County. And as you were mentioning about how they're going to be arresting more, they're going to be arresting more because they can get away with it. Look what they've been getting away with, and they keep getting away with more and more and more.
And, you know, before we talk about imprisonment and the convictions, let's take our listeners back to January 5. Of that year, and what you were getting ready to do, and why you were traveling to the Capitol.
Well, even a little bit before that. Who are you? And
exactly.
What was your life before?
Well, I'm Eric Christie, and I was just I don't know. Just
what was your job?
I worked at a local credit union. I'd been there for 5 years. I worked as a portfolio manager in the commercial loan department. Totally, I have I guess a career of 25 years in that field.
So you're a finance guy, money guy.
Not really. I'm a portfolio manager guy.
Okay.
Yeah. But so January 6th, I went to Washington, D.C. by myself, and I went there to attend the Stop the Steal rally. Okay. I felt obligation to protect the freedom that I had enjoyed and protect the freedom that hopefully others will enjoy in the future. And I had no idea I'd walked into a Fedsurrection.
And when you say your intent in going was to protect freedom at the Stop the Steal rally, that was, we were talking about in the break room, that you wanted to physically be present, to be there and be counted.
Be counted, yes. Physically be there and be counted, be present, yes.
So that the nation could see how many people were invested in the importance of this election or that election, and the importance of making the effort to physically be present.
Right. Right.
And so going out on January 5th to the Capitol, what was your feeling? What was your mood?
It was exciting. I was on God, I get the sides confused. I think I was on the side where across the street's the Supreme Court. So where most of the chaos was happening was on the other side. So the exciting side, I wasn't on. I was on the more
You were on
boring
the
side.
tourist side.
Yeah. So I was on that side, and people were dancing, and people were excited to be there, and excited to be part of history.
Having fun, basically.
Right,
So
right.
excited to be there. I was telling you earlier that the planes leaving, we were seeing, people with their little selfie videos. They were so excited to be going to the Capitol.
Yeah.
Because I know that our listeners are wondering, okay, well then what happened?
Well, then what happened? I didn't see much happen from where I was.
But just for you, what?
I didn't see anything happen. I saw people participating in the Stop the Steal rally, and I hadn't seen any violence or any chaos from where I was.
Did you get to hear Trump speak?
Trump was speaking at the Ellipse, and I chose not to go because it was so crowded, and I have this thing with lines. I don't want to stand in line. And I thought I'll just go over to the Capitol and just wait there, because I heard that they were going to be coming from the Capitol, and I was familiar with that side that is where the Supreme Court is across the street, because I had gone to the Freedom March in November, where we marched from Freedom Plaza to the Supreme Court. So I was familiar with that side, so I just went to where I was familiar with.
And at what point did you start seeing things go sideways when you were there? Was there any point where you noticed that,
I didn't, not from that side. Yeah.
So
what the media was showing, I wasn't on that side.
Got it.
I was on the other side. Yeah.
Okay. So there wasn't any point where you realized, it was after the fact when things started, really getting funky and weird, that you were like, okay, wow, something.
Well, I realized it like later that night when I got back to the hotel. I'm like, oh my God, you start seeing like what they're showing on TV.
Yeah, but what they were showing, what happened on the other side, or after you had left.
When I got back to the hotel, I saw like on TV, and it was also coming up on people's social media what was going on the other side.
Okay, so Eric, so are you telling us that the day you were there, you kind of had an unremarkable day, and then you went back to your hotel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Eric, while you were there, how were you dressed?
You're talking okay.
Well, I mean, people were there. People are there. I mean, I'm looking at signs where people have signs that says, Jesus saves, or all of these different things.
And apparently there's a picture circulating.
You want me to describe the shirt I was wearing?
Well, no, not only the shirt, but the other stuff you were wearing. I mean, it doesn't look like you're dressed for an invasion or an insurrection.
No.
And David, everyone, listeners, David is looking at a picture that has been circulated widely in the media. So tell us about what we see in that picture.
Well, what you have, David, is a copy of a photograph of me at the Capitol, and the media has smudged out the first word of the shirt. There's 3 words there, and the word that they smudged out was fags. The shirt says fags for Trump, but the media smudged out that first word.
And you're also draped in a rainbow flag.
Right, that's right.
Okay. I was just, you don't look very threatening.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Were you
No
also,
offense. I mean, I didn't mean that.
No, I am taking absolutely no offense. Yeah. No. Yeah.
and were you always politically leaning to the right?
People ask me that question all the time, and I would say no. I would say that I probably went back and forth. But then, since Donald Trump came into the political scene and he was described as a Republican, I wanted to describe myself as a Republican as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so I wasn't like a staunch Democrat, and just that wasn't what the situation was. I hadn't like really made a decision one way or another, but after Trump was, in 2016 I didn't even vote. I wasn't for Hillary, I wasn't for Donald Trump. I wasn't sure about either one of them, but once I realized the president was going to be Donald Trump, I said to myself, all right, so now we got to live with Donald Trump as the president. If he does one thing I like, I'll vote for him. One thing. And when he started was serious about the border wall, because I've lived in California most of my life in the Los Angeles area, and I know that border wall has been a hot topic forever, and nobody's done anything about it except for Donald Trump.
Right.
And I realized, oh, this is a man of his words. Let's get behind him. And also, I was by the May of 2020, I realized that we're having a crisis in the United States, a constitutional crisis,
Right.
and I could tell that we'd been completely infiltrated from within.
Right.
And which goes back to my childhood. I could remember in my childhood them talking about they, meaning the communists, were going to take over America without firing a single shot. And I remember that when I was a kid, and I thought, how in the world are they going to do that? In May of 2020, I thought, shit, they've done it.
Wow.
You know?
So let's go back then, because we started this interview with hearing you say, I've been imprisoned for 11 months. So how did you go from an unremarkable day at the Capitol, enjoying yourself on January 6th, to being arrested, charged, tried, and put in jail?
So after I get back home to Los Angeles after attending the Stop the Steal rally, I see what's happening, and I also see what's happening to local people in Los Angeles who had attended the Stop the Steal rally, and I realized they're coming after everybody. I knew immediately. I'd never gone into the Capitol, but I want to clarify that just because I didn't go into the Capitol doesn't mean that the people who went into the Capitol are guilty. They were led into the Capitol. Okay, I want to make that distinction.
Yeah, I think that's been pretty clear on the side that you were on. The doors were open and they were allowed
The other
in.
side too. They were let in. So like a lot of people when they talk about me, they go, "He didn't even go in the Capitol." That doesn't matter. That's making the other ones sound guilty, and they're
Right.
not. Anyways, where was I?
How you were picked up, or what happened?
So
that
I
you saw it coming?
realized they're coming after everybody. People would tell me, "Oh, don't worry, you weren't in the Capitol." I said, "No, they're coming after everyone," and I was right. And they're coming, and they're still coming after everyone. They're coming after people that weren't even there.
Right.
Now they've said so, right? And they're going to get away with it. They're going to get away with it. What goes on in the courthouse in Washington, D.C., you wouldn't imagine. You couldn't believe that this was happening in America.
And we're going to get to the courthouse. But did the FBI come find you? How did they get you?
They've been following me for quite some time. And
You just thought you were paranoid.
I knew I
Turns
wasn't
out he
paranoid.
knew.
I knew I wasn't paranoid.
Correct.
I knew I wasn't paranoid. Some other people might have thought I was paranoid, but I knew I wasn't. And so it was on December 22nd, 2022, that I want to say it was around 9:30 in the morning. I was working from home, and I hear the front door come crashing in. And they had gotten up on the roof, and they had busted out the skylight. They had also shot out the sliding glass door in my upstairs bedroom. I was under full-blown attack over a couple of misdemeanor charges. What's it called? 18 U.S. Code 1752, restricted building or grounds. All right, full-blown attack. They'd blocked out the street. There was helicopters, LAPD. They turned off the electricity and the water.
You got swatted.
Yeah, is
basically.
that what they call it?
Yes.
Swatted? Yeah, then I got swatted.
Were you scared out of your
Terrified,
mind?
terrified, absolutely terrified.
What time was this?
It was just before 9:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
I was about ready to go on a conference call, and
Oh my word. Did they come at you with guns drawn?
they hadn't come into the house. They were attacking from the outside.
And were they yelling or doing bullhorns or something, or demanding, come out, hands up? What were they?
Well, I can't remember specifics at the time, but I remember, I think the media had said something about there was a standoff. I was still waiting for a search warrant or some sort of warrant
Right. Well,
that I hadn't been provided with.
You were suffering from the delusion that this was still America, right?
Yeah, that too. Right.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. So anyways, I got taken out of the home and put in the Los Angeles federal prison, and then they took me off to Washington, D.C., where I went to court.
All the while still in custody, though, right? When they take you to D.C., that's when they put you in the gulag there?
No, yes, yes, I was put in the DC gulag, the J6 pod.
So you're still in custody and you're just waiting for this trial, right?
Right.
And luckily, you got an awesome attorney.
Awesome attorney, absolutely awesome attorney. I was one of the lucky ones.
And feel free to tell us her name.
My attorney's Carolyn Stewart, and she was going for full acquittal. And I thought, I don't see how that's going to happen. I don't see how, even though I should have been acquitted, I'm like, I don't understand how it's going to happen, because if I get acquitted, then that would mean that would affect everybody else that had the 1752 charge. And I just thought they just can't possibly let that happen, the restricted building, restricted grounds charge. I thought, how in the world can they let this happen? Well, sure enough, they didn't let it happen. So we had, Carolyn Stewart had put together an excellent defense for me. When we were in court, this is how we don't get acquitted, our Secret Service expert witness had been approved by the government and judge pre-trial, and then at trial, after he took the stand, the judge refused to allow him to testify and told him to leave the courtroom. That simple. That simple.
The judge just did it on his own.
Just like that. And then also, the prosecution never provided any pretrial discovery or evidence at trial that the building or grounds were restricted under 18 U.S. Code 1752 restricted ground or building, and just acted like didn't hear it. It didn't matter. They didn't have to provide any kind of discovery. Just, so what?
Which, of course, as we know, in our American system, you're supposed to provide all exculpatory evidence.
That's right.
You're supposed to provide the evidence on which you are charging someone with a crime, or the evidence of that crime. And you're saying that your charge was being on restricted buildings and grounds, but they weren't even required to prove that up.
That's right.
That's just astonishing.
And that's also why my attorney is appealing. So, like, my case is under appeal.
And then you mentioned earlier, what about, didn't they tack on some additional charges besides those misdemeanors?
What they do is they do these enhancements. Yeah. So the guy said 2 minutes. Does that mean we only have 2 minutes?
We're coming up on a break, but we're going to take you right to it.
Okay. So yeah. So what happens is by the time it's all over, they tacked on some enhancements, and so that the trial was in August, and then the sentencing was in December, and they found out that I had already served enough time based on my guidelines, and was kicked out of the gulag on December 1st that night with a couple of felonies.
And we, we have got to come back and hear what it was like for you that day when you were, quote, allowed to leave, or when you were kicked out of the gulag.
I was fast-tracked out of the gulag that night, December 1st, get the hell out of here.
Which is excellent, but it's also bizarre.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear about how that happened.
All right, we'll be right back with Jessica Cabrera, Jennifer Kennedy, Eric, Christie, myself, and also our candidate for Congress in the 30th District, Emilio Martinez, has entered the building. We'll be right back.
We all know that aches and pains come with simply getting older, but it doesn't mean you have to accept it. That's why I want to tell you about a special lady, Leah from Ohio, and her Relief Factor story. One Sunday, Leah was sitting on the couch in so much pain she was literally in tears. That's when she decided to try Relief Factor. Just 8 days later, she found relief, and she continued to get better and better. To quote her, she said, "I am truly amazed at this product. Like me, who after 9, almost 10 years, almost a decade of lower back pain, lost that pain thanks to Relief Factor. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, could help you feel and live better every day. Get the 3-week quick starter pack at relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. It all comes with the feel better or your money back guarantee. That number, 1-800-4RELIEF. relieffactor.com.
The answer is The Mark Levin Show. Mark Levin. This is the Mark Levin Show.
The Democrat Party is devouring Americanism with American Marxism. The Democrat Party, its agenda becomes America's agenda. The issues it raises becomes the issues that we are forced to debate, unlike issues that are relevant to the American people. And it's getting much worse, not much better.
Mark Levin is right here, right now.
You cannot be an American Marxist, a radical leftist, an extremist, without being a full-blown pathological serial liar. You have to lie about the economic system you promote. You have to lie about balancing budgets. You have to lie about American history. You have to lie about systemic racism. You have to lie, and you have to lie all the time.
Mark Levin is here. And he's live from 3 to 6 p.m. Find us at am870theanswer.com. Stream us 24/7 on our mobile app.
A watchdog report finds the Pentagon didn't properly track more than $1 billion worth of weapons sent to Ukraine. The Pentagon Inspector General says the Defense Department improved its ability to track military aid to Ukraine. It didn't fully comply with requirements. The report says much of the equipment sent is delinquent, means it isn't possible to inventory everything sent to Ukraine. This all comes as a crucial moment on Capitol Hill debates whether to authorize more money. I'm Larry Marino in the Answer Newsroom.
On behalf of the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club, its members, board of directors, radio show hosts David Hernandez and Jeffrey Girgenti, and sponsors the Monroe family, thank you for all your support in 2023. You're invited to become a member of the most recognized Hispanic Republican organization in California. Online at LosAngelesHispanicRepublicanClub.com. That's LosAngelesHispanicRepublicanClub.com. Join them on the political front lines in 2024, and together, let's make California great again.
2024 is no longer about voting for the candidate. It's about saving the soul of America. Stay informed. Here, we are the source for all your answers. Get out and vote on Tuesday, March 5th. We are AM870, The Answer.
And we are back live in studio, and we have a very special guest. And for those of you who have been listening, and we're getting some comments on our Facebook feed, and be sure and share. You can go ahead and share that with your friends. But we have Eric Christie is with us, and we were and Jennifer was asking some very good questions, and leading the fact that so December 1st when you had what they gave you the verdict or.
No, December 1st was sentencing, and that's when I was given time served and let out that night.
Okay. And being given time served was like a miracle, correct?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So you are suddenly informed on December 1, you're suddenly informed you're out. You may go. You can leave. Tell us about that moment what happened next.
Well, I'd spent the better part of 2023 with all those J6ers in the gulag, and what's supposed to happen really is I'm supposed to go up to the gulag and get my my property, my books,
your possessions,
whatever,
okay,
the things that I wrote, my letters that I got, all of that stuff. Say goodbye to the J6ers and then go. You get checked out of jail. That's it. But they skipped that part. So they checked me out, and I'm like, well, I still got my stuff.
Yeah.
Up there in my room.
Meaning they didn't let you go back there and get your stuff. They didn't give you the cardboard box and walk you out of the office building?
No. They skipped that part, and so that was really tough because I kind of felt like. The people back at the gulag might have been thinking like I was snubbing them or something, like I'm out of here, screw you, good luck, see you down the road.
Fancy Pants gets to leave immediately.
Something like that. Yeah. It wasn't my doing. That's how the jail did it.
And does that mean that you will never get back those things that you had, the possessions that you had with you?
They sent some guards up to get a few items, but I didn't get everything I wanted, and I certainly didn't get to say goodbye to any of the other J6ers.
In the facility that you were in, about how many were there?
The number changes all the time. So people are coming and going. They also had at that time J6ers at other local area jails. So it could go from I don't know, like 15 to like 38 people. And, the numbers are constantly fluctuating.
Okay.
People coming in and out.
So they gave you time served, but were there any other restrictions placed on you, like probation?
Oh, yeah. They call it supervised release, but it's basically probation. So I'm still tied to this mess, right? So
So you can't wear a Trump shirt?
that's not part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're out, but the problem is you've been imprisoned.
Yeah.
You were taken. You have been 3,000 miles away from your home. You are now supposedly returning home, but your life has been upended,
Destroyed. Okay, because I honestly think that my employer probably would have had me back because people keep telling me, they say, we're on your side. I'm working with this recruiter right now who places candidates at banks where they have different opportunities, and she says, we're on your side. We completely support you, but I don't know if her clients will. You know what I mean? But where I worked before, I think they would have had me back, but they had a layoff. So I'm really scrambling right now. And not only that, but California unemployment insurance has denied my claim. So I'm fighting with that right now too.
Insult to injury.
Yeah, work your whole entire life, right?
Yep.
Something like this happens, and no unemployment insurance for you.
So I know that. So you're struggling. You almost lost your home, but you were managed to keep it, right? But you are in a position where so much has been taken from you, and I want to give you the opportunity to talk about your Give, Send, Go fund, where patriots can support Eric Christie, a J6er imprisoned for 11 months.
And 10 days.
And 10 days, because I was going to say, who's counting? We're all counting.
Yes.
How can we support you?
Well, I created a Gifts and Go campaign. It's called Eric Christie J6 Disaster Relief Fund. And Eric is spelled E-R-I-C. Last name is spelled Christie, C-H-R-I-S-T-I-E. And that's where I'm trying to raise funds. I don't even know where to focus my efforts right now. Should I continue like looking in the area that I was at before, because that's where I have the most experience, or do I become a truck driver, or do I go do
for employment?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right. And so you would be also looking, would you like to go back into your portfolio management type of
yeah,
job?
I would, or I'd be open to other opportunities. And I was also going to ask your listening audience, David, that if there's anybody out there who has an employment opportunity, they can reach me at my email address, ericchristieJ6@yahoo.com. And that's ERIC for Eric, and Christie, CHRISTIE, J6@yahoo.com. I can be reached that way for any employment opportunities.
That's great. I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that would like to help you. And so we're going to put that up on our website. Also, your Gives and Go on the LAHRC website. And wow, this has just been an amazing, eye-opening story to a real person. That we can actually hear your experience about that, because for a lot of people, I think it's very removed. It sounds unbelievable, but you said earlier, as we know, this is America, and we have political prisoners who have been sitting in jail for 3 years.
Would you like to know what Donald Trump calls us?
Tell us.
Political hostages.
Absolutely.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And I wanted to...
Have any of our elected leaders reached out to you?
No, not yet. Maybe they don't even know that I've been released from the gulag. I wanted to also bring up to your listeners, if anyone's familiar with Laura Logan.
Yes.
She's really hitting some home runs on this issue. Laura Logan and also Clay Higgins. Okay, so getting back to that, what I was talking about, the 1752 restricted grounds and buildings, Laura Logan asked this question: what area of the U.S. Capitol was restricted by Secret Service on January 6th based on the presence of the Vice President? And why Is this still not defined or known all this time later? This directly affects hundreds of J6 defendants. When will the Secret Service and the DOJ do the right thing? Question mark. This is what Laura Loga is asking, and this is a very important question.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. What's the funding side again?
Oh, the Gifts and Go.
So the Gifts and Go is my name, Eric Christie, and I call it the J6 Disaster Relief Fund.
All right, great. Thank you, Eric. And you know what? We want to have you back, and let's just stay.
Please, yes.
We'll just
Yeah.
keep this going.
Yeah.
But if you switch seat, we're going to switch gears.
it.
But stay.
Yes.
Stay with us, and we're going to bring on our friend Emilio Martinez,
Awesome.
who is our candidate for Congress, and that's in the Burbank, Glendale, Sunland, Tahunga area. Emilio, welcome.
Hello, bienvenidos.
Bienvenidos.
Right.
And so, you've met Jessica before?
Jessica Cabrera, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yes,
from
very
Perk.
happy to be here with you today.
Yeah,
We've had some really good conversations over the time that we've known each other.
yeah,
so.
we have. Yes,
So
definitely.
now, before we get into your campaign, there's some exciting news. I mean, isn't the television program or the project that you're doing, how is that working out?
Oh, you're talking about hashtag Fake News Show.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I've got hashtag Fake News Show is set up to be going live soon on lore.tv. That's LOOR.tv.
Mm-hmm.
But in a little plot twist, I have another project that I was working on called What the Church that just went live on lore.tv in their fridge magnets section, which is like experimental short form.
Oh, okay. I was going to
Stuff,
say,
yeah.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
I know what a fridge magnet
Yeah,
is.
it's
but
fridge
like-
magnet. Well, like when when the kids bring home something and it's experimental, and then you put it on the fridge magnet.
Yeah, you just.
That's what it is. It's like they're just trying to
My
push.
5-year-old put a crayon on a piece
Right.
of paper. I'm sure Jessica has
That's
some
what
of
my
that
fridge
stuff.
looks like.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Sure.
But that's where the experimentation happens. When you let the kids kind of start finding their own voice and their own artistry. So that's what Lore is doing, because they think that faith-based entertainment is lacking. It's shackled by church ladies who only want to watch movies about horses and dogs. And, and
Not that
then-
there's anything wrong with
no, that's great. It's like I worked in Lifetime movies for a while, so, it's good. But, if all Hollywood offered was Lifetime movies, people would go like, movies aren't really all that great, right? Right? Because, there would be no horror movies, there would be no comedies, there would be no anything. So that's, unfortunately, in faith-based entertainment, that's what's happened. It's gotten kind of painted ourselves in a corner that we only do certain kinds of movies as Christian artists that are just very milquetoast and,
Well, I think, what was that, Jessica, what was that movie? Was it the Jesus Revolution?
Yeah, that's something that was put out. Yeah, so
With
that
Kelsey Grammer? I mean, that just really, didn't that kind of like really do well in the box offices?
Oh, absolutely. That and like Sound of Freedom. Those are different. Those are movies that, and of course, there's like The Chosen. These are things that are on the cutting edge and that are breaking into new ground. But they're if I go to Netflix, I'll find a whole catalog of that stuff. If I go to HBO Max or Disney, if I go to Disney, I will see several programs that will tell me how I can have my children affirm gay lifestyles. But, so I can find it all the time. But if I want to find something that doesn't do that, it's hard to find. They're far and few between, and that's what Lore is doing. It's like Daily Wire just came out with their movie. Siaka, our friend Siaka, was on that. In fact, that's on his. That's when he got picked up by the feds on coming home from that premiere. But it's just one movie. See, you need again. It's like. You know what was great about the French Impressionists? They filled up a museum, That's what great artists do. They fill up museums, they fill up a roster, they fill up a catalog, you know. And unfortunately, again, with faith-based filmmaking, it's like, oh, we got a Jesus Revolution, yay! And we'll wait next 2 years for the next movie from the Irwin brothers.
Yeah.
So that's what Laura is doing. They're building a whole culture that's a full pipeline that keeps that content coming, and they're starting off with that, partially the fridge magnet, the fridge magnet section. It's like they call it their Adult Swim.
Oh,
You know, yeah.
So a lot of little shorts that just keeps the message going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Just
just one shot and that's it.
Exactly. And it's kind of content that you're going to not really find anywhere else. Like What the Church is really just all the different hard things that people as Christians go through and trying to be like Jesus. It's very hard. And also living with other Christians, which is also very hard because a lot of Christians, they don't really act like Christ because, you know, they're just people. And yet we're supposed to love each other. And it's hard, especially when you're married to them, you know.
Let's don't go there. Let's don't go there. Well, you know, and we've been to the Glendale School Board meetings, and, you know, a lot of what we have seen, we were speaking with Mike Cosgrove earlier, is that a lot of the stuff that's happening on the streets has been involved parents, and especially mothers.
Well, exactly. They're pushing back. Well, you guys are familiar with what happened in Fontana today, right?
No.
Oh, Fontana, yeah. So Seth Gruber, who runs an organization called White Rose Resistance, it's a rather aggressive pro-life movement because they don't just sit and stand and wait around for things. They actually go out and do things. Very masculine-oriented kind of organization. They actually were here this summer in Beverly Hills. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That the protests that shut down that abortion clinic there in Beverly Hills, that was Seth Gruber and White Rose Resistance. Well, they decided that they wanted to do a Leave Our Kids Alone themed rally in Fontana, because there are things going on there with the school board and Planned Parenthood. They've let Planned Parenthood just take over, and they're just calling that attention that the abortion rights and trans rights are connected, monetarily, philosophically, socially, strategically, so that Planned Parenthood is actually one of the number one organizations that is pushing the whole make sure our kids, and
gender reassignment surgeries and
all the gender affirming thing and all the parental. Well, remember, they're the ones that said that a young girl who does not want to have, or who does not want to inform her parents about having an abortion does not have to, and they're doing all kinds of things. So the trans movement and all the queer stuff that's going on in the schools with the sex education, that's all being funded by Planned Parenthood, designed by Planned Parenthood, implemented by Planned Parenthood, and of course that's all being brought to you by $500 million of American tax dollars.
Oh yeah, because it's federally funded.
Yeah, it's federally funded. So
which gives us a segue right into your federal race for Congress.
That's right. So I'm running against a gentleman in District 30. Well, I'm running actually against 14 people.
Yeah, 14. You're running against 14 people. There's no incumbent. Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff is running against Steve Garvey and a few other 200 people.
Adam Schiff's birthday wish came true this year. Dianne Feinstein died. And now he had an opportunity to run for Senate. So he's looking for his promotion. This is the last time, by the way, that this district will ever hear from Adam Schiff. So he's gone, right? He used us and abused us, and moving on to the next booty call. So 14 candidates stepped up. One was a Republican, 13 Democrats. Actually, one of them recently, he was a Democrat, now he's an independent. because the Democrats are not conservative enough for him, or they're, I'm sorry, not liberal enough for him.
Was that maybe a girl?
No, that's Josh Bocanegra.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so they had 13. The Democrats were basically running 13 very radical candidates. Well, I take it back. Ben Savage is like the only one that is like halfway decent.
Well,
okay.
Now, is he an actor?
Yeah, Ben Savage. He's Fred Savage's little brother. He was on Boy Meets World, right? Yeah.
I never watched it.
Yeah. He's so Ben Savage. He's a really nice guy. In fact, you know what? I got to say, a Democrat will probably win this. And if a Democrat does have to win this,
you hope it's him.
I hope it's Ben Savage because he actually seems like he's
pretty moderate.
He's pretty moderate, right. But I will tell you, the other Republican that's running basically has the same platform as Ben Savage, right? So I'm like, well, what's the difference between a Democrat and this other, as Alex Balekian? What's the difference between him and Republicans now? There's no difference. Is it just like Republicans are just like not super radical Democrats?
Well, I think in this day and age, you have Republicans that the entire spectrum, from very progressive to very, very conservative, and depending on the issue, I mean, because you have pro-choice Republicans, you have
but then did we have pro-Medi-Cal Republicans?
Absolutely. I mean,
pro-vaccine, pro-mandate.
Well, we do have
pro-vaccine.
Well, right, yeah. But then do we have like pro-socialism Republicans? I mean, you can have that. It's like I have a lot of relatives that are Democrats who are pro-life. The problem is there's no tolerance for them within the Democratic Party. And
that's happened a long time. That's why
that's happened a long time.
Benny Bernal was a Democrat and was pro-life, trying to work within the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of those Democrats don't realize that they don't have a voice. And
they don't.
So they keep voting for the D, not realizing that they're voting against their very own values.
Right. So the question is, if they're Democrats, and the Democrats are obviously in the tank for abortion rights, then how are Republicans who are not in the tank for abortion rights, how are they different? They're not. They're just playing for the other. I mean, there has to be some kind of difference. It's like you give me a Coke, and you can give me a Diet Coke, but if the Diet Coke has a bunch of sugar in it, it's not Diet Coke, right? It's just Coke. It's labeled Diet.
It's Coke Zero.
Yeah, it's Coke Zero. Yeah, but it's got a bunch of sugar still. So, but you see what I'm saying? You gotta have some kind of differentiation. If you can't be different, then why were you doing this? So that's why, so when it came to the guy that I'm running, I say, like, I'm really running against him because if both of us make it, honestly, if both of us or one of us makes it through the primary, I'll be surprised. Why do I say that? Not because I think, we have to just get in there and win. I'm a realist. I live in a district that is basically run by Democrat politicians, and frankly, they gerrymandered the whole district so that the Republicans in the north end of the district and the conservatives in the north end of the district,
like Sunland, taking Sunland.
Well, it's actually like Montrose, like La Cañada or part of Pasadena. Those areas should probably be in this district, and West Hollywood should not. Like, what does West Hollywood, which is in the district, have to do with a place like Tujunga,
or like Viterras,
right, or Montrose, right? Well,
you have the Pacific Design Center, and then you also have all of the equestrian community up in at the northern
exactly.
district.
I mean, the only thing that Glendale and Hollywood have in common is the Grove and the Americana are owned by the same guy. That's all. That's all they got in common, really. So, did they make the district just so he'd have full representation?
The city's chopped up the same way too with their congressional district.
Right, exactly. There you go. There's Mike. So yeah, exactly. The whole city. And in fact, I just got into a conversation because at the event that we were there at Harvest Rock Church earlier today, was it the Freedom Fest? Freedom Fest. I ran into a woman there, and she was just livid about how the Republicans and the conservatives specifically just dropped the ball on the redistricting this last census, this last round, and all the districts are they're just gerrymandered horribly.
Well, she doesn't realize in a state that is totally dominated at every level of governance, there is no ball.
Right, there is no ball, but that's the thing is that we're still people. I mean, that's like even like the White Rose Resistance. Going back to them, they had over 1,000 people attend this little rally. That's one of the largest Leave Our Kids Alone rallies that I've been to, that I've seen. Right, and that's pretty amazing. And you can see that just when people who really have these values stand up and do something, they're going to find out that they are what Richard Nixon called the silent majority. And that's one thing they said to us with Sev Gruber today. He said, there is a giant that is about ready to be awakened. It is the Christian church, and it's going to be awakened, and it's going to finally stand up for the values.
Eric?
You know, when I was in the Gulag, I was getting news from Southern California that in Glendale, that the Mexicans and the Armenians were really coming after the school boards and pissed. And I had one question: where are the white people?
They're funding Planned Parenthood.
They're funding Planned Parenthood.
They're funding Planned Parenthood. They're not having babies.
Why is it just
You're it, Eric.
Stepping up? Well, I know. And then guess what? Like the people who showed up at my house that were attacking me, they were all white.
Well, I gotta tell you, it is white liberal women that are pushing back against us in our community and our culture, telling us, no, we know what's best for you.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to tell you what to do. Exactly. Go back to picking our vegetables. Go back to picking our fruits.
I don't think I haven't noticed this, okay? Don't think I haven't noticed this. And I thought it was weird, like when I was in D.C. and I'm trapped in the Gulag, I'm like, why is it only the Mexicans and Armenians?
No, I'm going to tell you, the irony of Latinos in America, I think, is that we're going to teach the white people how to be people again.
There you go. Brown is the new red, which is the slogan of the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club, which you have been listening to. Jessica, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me today.
And next time I want you to bring your father.
Oh, I hope he can make it in one day.
And
yes,
we'll do that. Eric, once again, how do people contribute?
Oh, the Gifts and Go, the Eric Christie J6 Disaster Relief Fund, and also you can reach me at ericchristieJ6@yahoo.com.
Emilio, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, of course. And you can reach me at AmericanResurrection.us. I think I actually have a donate button now.
There you go.
AmericanResurrection.us. America's dead, but only God can bring it back, and He will.
All right, Sal, thank you very much. Ryan, thank you. Brianna and Mike Cosgo and all of the Kimberly Fletcher that called in, and Dahlia from Pacific Grove. This has been the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club, and we will be back very soon. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Adios.
You have been listening to the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club show. David Hernandez and Jeffy Girgenti would like to thank you for listening, and also sponsor Don Monroe